Speaker. Today I'm going to argue that the refusal to implement paid sick days by this government and last week's decision to increase police powers are both examples of systemic racism. We know that workplaces are the main transmission points. Yesterday I was on a press conference with the Ontario Medical Students Association, and an emergency room physician, Dr. Stephen, pointed out that 2/3 of the COVID cases in Peel region can be traced to workplace transmission. And he also said that 1 in 4 workers reported going to work while symptomatic because if they lose their paycheck, they will not be able to pay the rent or feed their families. The decision last week to increase the police powers was incredibly traumatizing to particularly Black and Indigenous communities. A resident from my community, Paul David, wrote on Facebook, "It's hard to understand if you present as white, but I now have to prepare what to do."
Third, I think Rick is up next.
Or I leave my home. And our colleague from Coetnung, the increase in police powers reminded him of the powers of the Indian agents on the reserves to refuse or give permission for First Nations people to leave those reserves. That happened for decades. So my question to the government is, how could you possibly come up with this police measure? What is the proportion of Black and Indigenous members on the command table? And I will argue again that refusing to implement paid sick days that would primarily benefit low-income racialized communities and the decision to increase police powers are both acts of systemic racism. Thank you.